In my last video, I showed you a preview of something a lot of people have been waiting and hoping for. Cops, the 1994 arcade full-motion video police shooter and driving game, originally released by Atari and developed by Nova Productions. Well, this is not another preview. Cops for Hypseus is available now. If you don't know, Cops is based on the American TV show of the same name. The TV show first appeared in 1989 and has continued to this day. It has a very simple but very effective format. Camera crews followed real police officers while they were out on patrol. It had no big studio sets or scripted drama, just real footage edited into short police incidents. And of course, it featured that famous Inner Circle theme song, Bad Boys.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Cops is about real people and real crime. It was filmed entirely on location with the men and women who work in law enforcement.
What you gonna do when they come for you? You're too bad.
So when Atari turned Cops into an arcade game in 1994, they took something of that format and turned it into a live-action driving and shooting game, giving players the chance to imagine what life could be like as a police officer. And the company behind the original arcade game was Nova Productions. Nova was a British amusement machine company based around Preston in Lancashire in the United Kingdom. They were not a massive household name like Atari or Sega, but they came from the coin-op world. The world of arcade and pub machines that had to catch your attention in a public space. That background is useful because Cops was not just a normal light gun cabinet, it was something of an arcade attraction. The original machine had a large video display, guns for the shooting sections, a steering wheel for the driving sections, a lamp-illuminated bezel around the screen to give the player feedback, and a separate 7-segment display below the screen for extra information. Like many FMV arcade games of the period, the original Cops cabinet used a laserdisc for the video footage. But this game also had a CD-ROM drive, which was used to play music from a CD, including Bad Boys by Inner Circle, the theme song from the TV show.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys,
And all of those songs are included in this Hypseus version. So now, thanks to Luther Gond, Cops has been brought to Hypseus. A lot of people have been hoping for a Hypseus version of Cops for a long time. And from the reaction to the preview video, there were also a lot of people who were surprised to learn that this game even existed. Luther Gond is the person responsible for this release. He did the reverse engineering, the coding, the game logic and all the difficult work needed to make this game playable in Hypseus. And he had very little reference footage of the original arcade hardware to work from. That's worth stressing because a release like this involves far more than simply playing back the video footage. The whole experience needed to be recreated in a way that feels right. And with a rare machine like Cops, that is not straightforward. So please give Luther Gond the credit he deserves for this one. This is a first for Hypseus, and it's another brilliant addition to Luther Gond's growing list of FMV arcade recreations. I helped out a little on this release too. I made the custom bezel, and I coded the functions for the VFD style display, the 7-segment display that sits below the video window. That was an important part of recreating the feel of the original cabinet. The original Cops arcade machine had a physical bezel surrounding the screen, with lamps behind it. Those lamps lit up to indicate things like your ammo count, damage taken, and how far off course your steering was during the driving sections. It also had a 7-segment display beneath the screen, giving useful information to the player. For the Hypseus version, we've replicated those cabinet indicators with a custom on-screen bezel that appears to be lit from behind in a similar way to the original machine. So the ammo, damage and steering indicators are not just decorative, they are part of how the game communicates with the player just like on the original cabinet.
Now these lights indicate that you're off course. And if the screen goes bright, you're way off. So get back on track. You got that?
There is one important thing to know about that. Because the bezel and lighting effects are built around this custom layout, this version of COPS is designed for 16:9 ratio displays only. That was a practical design choice. To recreate the original cabinet style lamps and display properly, we needed enough screen space around the video to show those indicators clearly. Trying to squeeze the same idea into a smaller or narrower layout would have required a significant compromise. So the recreation targets 16:9. That gives the game enough space to keep the cabinet style presentation intact, while also matching the display format most modern players are likely to be using. As for how the game plays, you can have 1 or 2 players as shooters, and optionally 1 player as the driver. But you need at least 1 shooter. Driving is optional. The shooting sections are best played with a light gun, and that is obviously the most authentic way to experience it, but you can also play with a mouse. Each shooter needs their own separate device, so if you have 2 shooters, you need 2 separate aiming devices. And if one of you wants to drive as well, the driver also needs a separate device. You can't use a device that has already been assigned to a shooter. For the driving sections, a racing wheel gives you the most immersive experience. In my demo, I used the Microsoft Xbox 360 wireless racing wheel, which works really nicely for this kind of thing. In fact, this is the same racing wheel I used when I recorded a playthrough of Lucky and Wild several years ago. But you don't have to use a wheel. Just about any gaming device can be used for driving, including a controller or even a mouse, as long as it is separate from the shooting device. And if your wheel or controller supports rumble, the game supports rumble too. The driving sections are mainly there for fun and immersion. They don't award points, so if you just want to play COPS as a shooting game, you can do that. But if you've got the extra device, it's absolutely worth trying the driving. It adds a lot to the feel of the game. During those driving sections, the display below the video window becomes especially useful. It tells the driver how much more they need to steer in a particular direction to stay on course. So instead of just guessing, you get a cabinet-style readout giving feedback as you play. So, to quickly recap, COPS for Hypseus is available now. It supports 1 or 2 shooters, and it supports an optional driver. It supports light guns, mice, controllers, wheels, and rumble where available. It recreates the original cabinet's light-up bezel and 7-segment display with a custom on-screen layout, and it brings back one of the strangest FMV arcade games of the 1990s. You can get the game from the link in the video description. And if you're a Windows player using my Borf launcher for Hypseus, make sure you've updated Borf to the latest version. The new setup feature it has will practically set the game up for you with minimal effort, so I'll link to Borf in the description as well. And again, please make sure you show Luther Gond some love for this release. This was a big one. COPS is obscure, complicated, and not exactly overflowing with reference material, but Luther Gond has brought it to life for Hypseus, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. If you need help getting COPS running, or if you need advice with Hypseus in general, come and join the Hypseus Discord server. It's also a good place to talk about FMV games, Laserdisc arcade history, setups, and all the weird stuff that people, like us, somehow end up caring about. And as always, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like. It really does help me judge whether these videos are worthwhile. Share it with your friends or anyone you think might be interested. And subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of thing, because there's always more weird arcade and FMV stuff to talk about. So that's it. COPS for Hypseus is out now. Grab it from the description, update Borf if you're using it, and give it a go. And if you do try it with 2 shooters and a steering wheel, I definitely want to hear how that setup goes. Thanks for watching, and have fun playing COPS.